Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish. But we're going to talk about the power of now, because putting off stuff is putting off your life, and putting off who you're supposed to be. It's what we do, you know? Yeah, we talk about procrastination, and we talk about this. And procrastination to me is like, yeah, I know I need to take out the trash, and I should take out the trash and all this. But when we put things off out of our perfectionistic, idealism, I've got to make the right list, make the right schedule, make the right things. This needs to be all so perfect. And we know what perfectionism does, right? We know that perfect isn't here on this side of glory. Not till later. We get to see that later, but not right now. So instead, we strive for excellence, because excellence means we're doing our best. Excellence means we're stubbing our toe along the way, we're figuring it out, but we are in it to win it. We're taking action, we're not sitting back, waiting and putting off. That putting off stuff, man, what does it do to you? What does putting off do to you? I think it's a soul crusher. I think it hurts you and harms you, and it makes you think that you're just not good enough to get started now. How sad is that? Because you are good enough. You are up to it. You have the capacity. You have the capabilities. You just have to hold on to the power of now. Eckhart Tolle, is that his name? I don't know. He wrote a very powerful book called The Power of Now a few years ago. A really good book. I read it, sort of. I kind of waded through it. I found it to be a little bit tedious. No offense to him. He's a multiple New York Times best-selling author and been on Oprah and all that. So who am I to say? But just for me, I'm like, chop, chop, let's get to the point. I want to get this done. I don't want to sit here and mull this stuff over and over. I want to get right to it. And that's what the power of now is. It's getting right to it. It's understanding who you can become. And that is super powerful when we get our hands and our arms around who we are becoming. Because it makes us feel like there is hope. There's possibility. There is, out there on the horizon, there is a bright future. And there is, for you and for me and for everybody else who believes it is so. But we've got to get to that place, it is so. Because when we put off, what happens? We put off eating healthy and say, oh, I will when 2021 comes. Right now in this in-between time, well, we've got all this leftover stuff, right? What happens, right? We eat all the leftover candy and the leftover baked stuff and all the leftover whatever it is that's in the fridge. Finish off the soft drinks, finish off the this, finish off the that. And we find ourselves in the place of really feeling like crap, and boy, do we have to start over. Boy, do we have to start over. So when we put off eating well, we're putting off our health, bottom line. And we're putting off, the jeans that we maybe want to wear. When we put off moving our bodies, we're putting off feeling good in our bodysuits. We're putting that all off, because no one has ever said after a workout, man, that didn't feel good. I'm not pleased with myself for doing that. That's not true. When we put off taking our supplements, we're putting off our good health as well. We put off aligning with our purpose. We put off aligning with what it is that we want in this life. We're missing out on everything. That's just the bottom line. So here's the thing. If you want the vibrant life that you say that you want, and I believe you with all of my heart that you want that, then your actions got to get into alignment. We talk about the alignment assignment all the time. And by the way, you can find our notes for every single one of our shows that we do on Saving Dinner. You just sign up for our newsletter and you will get the show notes the next day. Absolutely the next day. don't forget about that, because, you know, if you want the show notes, you're going to get some good actionable items that you can do at the end of this. So I love that. So when you flick the switch, you're turning on your power. You know that when you do this, when you walk into a room and you flick the switch, what happens? Lights go on, right? Your lights go on. Why? Is it because you flicked the switch? Is it because you, what happened? Well, there is electricity and power attached to that light bulb. All by itself, that light bulb does nothing. That's like having stacks of how to do books and planners and all kinds of stuff, and not taking the time to put out a pencil and to start writing in them, because we don't want to mess them up. That's why I say use a pencil. You can always use the end of it, the eraser. Always. When we flick the switch, we expect that that light's going to go on. And the reason that's going to happen is because there's a connection here. There is wires that go from that switch all the way to the light. And you know what that is? For us, it's our motivation. It's our yes, I can. It's the emotion that's tied behind how we feel about ourselves and what it is that we want to see in our lives. And for all of us, we need to have a vibrant vision of what that's going to look like. So one of the things that I think really helps to crystallize and make things work and make things come together is when we understand that if we keep doing the same thing that we're doing, we're going to keep getting the same thing that we've been getting. So in order to flip that switch, in order to get to the place of having something different, we've got to set it all up for something different. And I'm not talking about putting it off. I'm not talking about waiting till it's all perfect and all this, that, and the other thing, and, you know, whatever. I am talking about setting yourself up. Where do you want? Where do you want your body to be? 1 year from today, what do you want your body to be doing? You know, do you want to be feeling vibrant in your body? Do you want to be wearing a different size jeans? Do you want to be stronger? Do you want to be an athlete and feel fit? Do you want to feel comfortable in your own body? What do you want? What about your mind? Where are you going to spend your time? Are you going to spend your time in relentless, horrible social media pursuits? Or are you going to stay in your lane instead and decide that you're going to do some personal development and become the very best version of yourself? All these things we get to make those decisions about. How we spend our time is how we're going to have our lives turn out. You know that. So if you want more of the same, if you're ready to step into something different, well, I've got an answer for that. You know, your own personal truth of who you want to become and who you want to be. There's purpose, there's passion, there's an excitement of what could be, and that's what we've got to be looking at, because all of the emotions that come running and tell you that it's, you know, it's too hard, or it's too risky, or it's too difficult, or you can't do it, or whatever, that's all crazy. That's all that the amygdala in your head just saying, no, you can't do that. You know what my strong suggestion is? Instead, flip the switch and say, I'm going to do this instead. Because when you hear that you're not ready, I say, yes, you are. Because you're a little intrepid, you're a little scared, you're a little nervous. Good for you. When you say it's too risky, it might be hard, or it might be a struggle, or it might be this, I'm going to say good for you. You know why? Because that tells you that your body is saying to you that this is something that you used to do, but it's not something that's going to hold you back anymore. Just identify it and move on. Because blessed are the action takers. They are the ones who will get the things that they want. If you sit paralyzed by your own perfectionism, if you sit paralyzed by this I'm not ready business, you know, forget about it. You're just going to get more of the same. The solution is you got to show up. You got to show up anyway for every single day. You got to get up, you got to go make your coffee, and you got to get, you know, kids off to school, got to go to your job, you got to do whatever. Does that mean that you want it to look exactly the same way? Those are the questions. Set it up. When we set up for success, we're going to get the success. When we set up for failure of doing the same thing, we're going to get the same thing. If we want to become all that we're supposed to be, then it's time to start thinking about things. It's time to start thinking about, what do I want my life to look like? Heart, mind, body, and soul. Start thinking about those things. Start writing some of those things. Start thinking about them and putting them in your journal. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I hope tomorrow's setup will probably be a little different. If you feel the need, if this moved you at all, if you're excited about this, share this, would you, with some friends? Somewhere around here, I've got some, I've got some chocolate. Debbie, you can find the quote pack. It's the quote deck is what we're calling it. SaveMeDinner.com/quote. That's where you will find it. And for everyone else, thank you again for joining me. And 100% show the heck up. Show me that you mean business. Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.